in the association of such a great progressive circle such as yours. So thank you for inviting me once again. Today, as it's mentioned in the chat, we're going to be covering a number of verses. We're in chapter 88. We're going to go from 17 through 26. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Starting at verse 17. Ityadishtastamasura upadhavat sagatrata kedara atmakravyena Juvanogni mukham haram. Shukadeva Goswami continued. Thus advised, the demon proceeded to worship Lord Shiva at Kedarnath by taking pieces of flesh from his own body and offering them as oblations into the sacred fire, which is Lord Shiva's mouth. So right off the bat, you know, some pretty amazing things gonna go down. It's pretty graphic. Devo palabdhim aprapya nirvedat saptame hani shiro vrishchat sudhitina tattirtha klinnamurdhajam. Tada mahakaruniko sadurchate yatha vayam chagniribhothito nala nirgyadorbyam bhujayor nyavaraya tatsparshanad bhuya upaskritakriti. Vrikasur became frustrated after failing to obtain a vision of the Lord. Finally, on the seventh day, after dipping his hair into the holy waters at Kedarnath and leaving it wet, he took up a hatchet and prepared to cut off his head. But at that very moment, the supremely merciful Lord Shiva rose up out of the sacrificial fire, looking like the god of fire himself, and grabbed both arms of the demon to stop him from killing himself, just as we would do. By Lord Shiva's touch, Vrikasura once again became whole. Tamaha changa lamalam vrishne swame yatha bikamam vitarami tevaram priyeya toye nananam prapadyatam aho tvayatma brishamartyate vritha. Lord Shiva said to him, "My friend, please stop. Ask from me whatever you want, and I will bestow that boon upon you. Alas, you have subjected your body to great torment for no reason, since I am pleased with the simple offering of water from those who approach me for shelter." Devam savavripapiyan Varambhuta bhayavaham yasya karam shirshni dasye samriyatamiti. Shukadeva Goswami continued. The benediction sinful Vrika chose from the Lord would terrify all living beings. Vrika said, "May death come to whomever I touch upon the head with my hand." Tachutva Bhagavan Rudro Durmanaiva Bharata Omiti Prasamstasmai Dadeheramritam Yatha. Upon hearing this, Lord Rudra seemed somewhat disturbed. Nonetheless, O descendant of Bharata, he vibrated Om to signify his assent, granting Vrika the benediction with an ironic smile, as if giving milk to a poisonous snake. Tadvara parikshartham shambhor murdhi kilasura swahastam dhatumarebe sobibhyat swakritat shiva. To test Lord Shambhu's benediction, the demon then tried to put his hand on the Lord's head. Thus, Shiva was frightened because of what he himself had done. Tenopasrishta sansrishta paradhavan savavepatu yavadantam divo bhume Kashtanamudagadudad. As the demon pursued him, Lord Shiva fled swiftly from his abode in the north, shaking with terror. He ran as far as the limits of the earth, the sky, and the corners of the universe. Ajananta pratividhim tushnimasan sureshvara tato vaikunthamagamad bhaswaram tamasa param yatra narayana sakshan nyasinam paramogati shantanam yasya dandanam yato navartate gata. The great demigods could only remain silent, not knowing how to counteract the benediction. Then Lord Shiva reached the luminous realm of Vaikuntha, beyond all darkness, where the Supreme Lord Narayan is manifest. That realm is the destination of renunciants who have attained peace and given up all violence against other creatures. Going there, one never returns. Purport. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, Lord Shiva entered the planet of Shvetadvip, a special outpost of the spiritual world within the confines of the material universe. There, on a beautiful white island, surrounded by the celestial ocean of milk, Lord Vishnu rests on the serpent bed of Anantashesh, making himself available to the demigods when they need his help. We'll stop reading the purports here. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born the darkest of ignorance, but my spiritual master kindly open my darkened eyes with the torchlight of transcendental knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto his lotus feet. I further offer my obeisances unto all of you assembled Vaishnavas and seek your kind blessing and permission that we may recite Srimad Bhagavatam with you. Hare Krishna. So, what an amazing story. Before we focus back on these verses, let's remember how the chapter unfolds. It's fascinating, almost like a movie, a cinematic passage of the Bhagavatam, where the dynamics between demigods and demons and the Supreme Lord reveal some eternal truths about ambition, about mercy, and the ultimate refuge in Krishna. So we start with the devas, the demigods, and the daityas. These two groups perpetually competing for dominance. Among the asuras, the demons, we see this one particularly driven demon, Vrikasura, who embodies an extreme desire to gain devastating power over life and death itself. And like many before him, instead of approaching Vishnu or seeking genuine liberation, he goes to Lord Shiva, the easily pleased master of boons. And we read just prior to this, and the Bhagavatam repeatedly honors Lord Shiva as Vaishnava Anamyatha Shambhu, greatest of Vaishnavas, who's detached himself from all material allurements. He's always meditating on the Lord. Yet Lord Shiva is also known as Ashutosh, one who is quickly pleased, and who, fortunately or unfortunately, does not discriminate much between qualified and unqualified petitioners. In this case, it's unfortunate. So the word spreads even among like the demoniac society. If you want quick results, go to Lord Shiva. He doesn't delay. See, some, Vishnu might delay you and try to purify you and so on. You don't need that kind of stuff in your life. You just want results, right? So go to Lord Shiva. He doesn't ask too many questions. So this shows two things. It shows the compassion of Lord Shiva. He feels moved even by those who are not saintly. And he wants to give something, even when others won't. But then also there's this potential danger that if you have mercy guided, that's not guided by a sense of discernment, then you can empower the wrong hands. Now, Vrikasur, he travels to Kedarnath. Kedarnath is an incredibly beautiful place. I've seen videos of it. I've not gone there myself, but I've heard different devotees' accounts of a special energy and vibe there. And if you're sensitive to it, you can sense presence of Lord Shiva there. It's a very sacred place. So he knows, Vrikasur knows this is the place to be if you want to contact Lord Shiva. He lives right there. And he begins his austerities. But these austerities are tamasic. Tamasic means in the mode of ignorance. Very severe. Self-mutilation. He's tearing off pieces of his own flesh and offering them into the fire. This is an act not of devotion, but an act of mad desperation. This is tapasya. It is austerity twisted by a lust for power, not a desire for truth or a goal of being uplifted spiritually or being purified or to surrender to the Lord. No. Wants more influence, control, and power. And day after day, he waits, seeking a vision of Lord Shiva. And the seventh day comes and he's frustrated And he's okay, I had enough of this. I'm going to cut my own head as a final offering, a shocking offering to force the hand of Lord Shiva. And so then we come to this verse. Here we can see that the demon, his ambition is misguided. We see the elements of horrific austerity, like control and domination. Lord Shiva remains unseen, but then his compassion is about to be invoked in a dramatic way, almost a tragic way. So when we read these verses 17 through 26, we see how Lord Shiva responds to this spectacle of self-torture. How his innocence, Lord Shiva is known as Bholenath, the innocent Lord. Bhole, in just general Indian languages, especially Hindi, it just means innocent to a fault or naive even. It's a very endearing quality, but also dangerous, as you can see. So in this section, we see how his innocence leads to this unintended disaster, and how ultimately even the greatest of devas, who's Lord Shiva, he's Mahadeva, he has to flee to Lord Vishnu's lotus feet for true safety. Why is Lord Shiva like this? Just a few days ago, we talked about Shiva Tattva. We kind of went into that, we explored that. And we know that he's the topmost Vaishnava, so soft-hearted that he cannot bear to see anyone suffer, even a demon. So you can see, like when Advaita Acharya was roaring to get the Lord to come down, to descend and dissipate the evils of Kali Yuga. You can see the same element, his softness of heart. He's so pained by the pain of others. Advaita Acharya is also a partial incarnation of Lord Shiva. He's known as Sadashiv. And he's a combination of Sadashiv and Lord Vishnu together. It's quite an amazing avatar. So Lord Shiva is so soft-hearted, he cannot bear to see anyone suffer, even a demon. Now, Lord Shiva doesn't ignore his desperation. He intervenes. He says, stop, my friend. What do you want? And he holds him. Like it says, he holds him. The verse is like we would, like any person would, you know. Don't jump off the building. Stop. What do you want? And then he says something interesting. If you just wanted to please me, you could just offer me some water. You don't need to offer me this, your own flesh. You know, water would have been just fine. You know? He's showing how freely he's available. And Krishna's devotees do make themselves freely available for very little. And just water is just symbolic, just to show that my dear Vaishnava, please come in my life. Here, have some water. It's not like that Vaishnava doesn't have access to water. It's a symbol of invitation, to invite. So devotees who are soft-hearted make themselves available for like nothing at all, like water. You see, and Krishna does too. Krishna says, "Patram pushpam phalam toyam." Some water, fruit, whatever you can get your hands on, just not a big deal. Use that as a vehicle to express your invitation. That's all. So Lord Shiva tells him, "Hey, what is this meat that you're offering me from your own body? Not into that." Now, this is Lord Shiva's beauty. He gives even when unqualified people ask. His heart is open to anyone. Yet we run into this challenge that mercy without discernment can arm the adharmic forces. Giving milk to a poisonous, envious snake doesn't change its nature. It only increases its strength to harm others. What can we learn This is relevant for us as devotees too. Devotees living in the modern world, devotees operating within ISKCON. Our tradition is generous, eager to give Krishna consciousness widely. But generosity has to be paired with guidance, with a sense of discernment, lest we empower unfettered ambition rather than devotion. We've seen that play out. The unfortunate history of most institutions. Anytime there's an institution, someone may feel that they can be abusive and become very ambitious in the name of devotion. That's why, Srila Prabhupada very carefully structured ISKCON in such a way so that, some of that, by creating the GBC and so on, to mitigate some of those possibilities. Because the human nature in Kali Yuga is such that even when our initial motives may be devotion, it's very easy to get misled, go down the path of unfettered ambition, and perhaps be hurtful to other devotees and so on. So it's something for us to learn and be careful. It's a good quality to be inclusive. We have to be inclusive. It's our tradition. No one is barred. But when it comes to empowerment with certain aspects of responsibility of others, then we have to be careful. Some lessons to learn here. Right? Look at Rikasur's mentality. He's mutilating himself for a boon that serves no higher good, no real redeeming value, only the ability to destroy anyone he touches. He doesn't ask for freedom from suffering. He doesn't ask for wisdom or love. He just wants domination. That is the epitome of demoniac tapasya. Krishna alludes to it in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16. He says, this demon's mindset is, I shall kill my enemies. I'm the controller. I'm the enjoyer. Aham bhogi, and so on. So ambition without surrender is a kind of madness. It sacrifices everything: health, compassion, humanity, just to gain control of others. We see that in modern societies. People become dictators and politicians and presidents, and once they get a taste of that, the ability to gain control of others, it's incredibly dangerous. And it's not just in modern history, it's in ancient history too. All kinds of kings came and went. This story is quite ancient. But it's not a distant story. It can be seen reflected in subtle ways in our own spiritual lives. Even as sadhakas, when we approach Krishna or any authority, we have to question ourselves. What is my motive? Am I doing it for genuine service? Am I doing it for control or for prestige or something like that? So even bhakti, if it's twisted by ambition, it can be more dangerous than open atheism because it hides poison under the garb of piety. So it's a pretty important thing for us to reflect on. And then, of course, in the climax of this story, what do we see? Even the mighty Shiva is a master of all mystic powers. He becomes helpless in front of his own boon. He runs across the universe seeking safety. The other demigods can't do anything because Lord Shiva is the most powerful of all demigods. So what is Lord Brahma and everybody else going to do? They're helpless. Lord Brahma, if he tried to intervene, he would get his heads popped off, all four of them. It would be quite spectacular. So he's not going to stick his neck out there. So finally, Lord Shiva reaches this luminous realm of Vaikuntha. He knows only Narayan can save me. And it's quite beautifully described, this Shvetadvip, realm beyond darkness, beyond violence, beyond fear, beyond death. In fact, Vaikuntha is the only safe shelter where those who surrender never return to this chaos. This is the Bhagavatam's gentle but piercing message. No material or celestial power can guarantee safety. It's not wealth, not influence, not even Shiva himself. The only true refuge is in Lord Vishnu's lotus feet, where even, harmful ambition can't even cross the threshold. It can't even enter, and no boons can backfire. That is a special sense of security at Lord Narayan's lotus feet. Of course, as the story unfolds further, you'll see how Krishna is so expertly, just Tai Chi's the whole situation very beautifully. Yes, Sadhvi asks, is Vrikasura the son of Shakuni? So yes, Vrikasura is the son of Shakuni, but I don't believe this is the same Shakuni that is in the Mahabharata. Might be a different Shakuni. His name is Shakune or something like that. He's son of Shakuni. So this Vrikasura, quite a character. And sometimes someone can get in this mode where all they want to do is just destroy people and get a sadistic kind of pleasure out of it. It's not limited only to one person or one demon. So as we read these verses, we can think about all the different messages the Bhagavatam conveys. The sense of security that comes when we surrender to the Lord, and how even the greatest demigods, they set the example that when they make a mistake, they acknowledge it and they run to the Lord. Similarly, we can do that too, and we can learn from it. Which brings us to the point of surrender. What does it mean to surrender? One of the 6 elements of surrender is Avashya Rakhibe Krishna Vishvasa Palan. Certainly, Krishna will protect me. And to nourish that trust, that sense of strong faith and trust, certainly Krishna will protect me. We see that in the story of Prahlad Maharaj. And if we can also develop that, we will see the results in the mirror. A lot of our stress comes from this idea that, I need to do something to protect myself, a sense of anxiety of, who will protect me from these dangers in life. But if you offload that whole baggage of stress to Krishna, it's yours now. Certainly, I know you'll protect me. I'm your devotee. May not be the best devotee, but I'm chanting your name. I'm trying to be a devotee. So now protection is your responsibility. It's not presumptuous to make that statement. And the more we want to do it feelingly, the more surrendered we are. My Lord, my life is in your hands now. And to be able to do that, we have to then also embrace the other elements of the 6 elements of surrender. Taking up everything that is good for your Krishna conscious growth, giving up everything that's bad for your Krishna consciousness, knowing that my maintenance, my food, everything that I need for my living is going to come from the Lord. Cultivating a sense of humility in my interactions and a sense of self-surrender, in the sense that, my Lord, I belong to you. So if you have all those 6, my Lord, I belong to you, we become humble, giving up bad stuff, taking up good things meaning conducive to Krishna consciousness. And certainly Krishna will protect me, and he's my only maintainer. If you have a very strong grasp of all those 6 in your heart and live by those principles, then we can be considered surrendered. Each one of them, we can grow in each of the lanes. We can grow in all of them gradually. That's the idea. And to the degree we progress in those, to the degree we'll see their effect on our own lives, on our sense of peace, sense of security. because one of the names of the Lord is Vaikuntha. His abode is also known as Vaikuntha, but he is also known as Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means the zone where there is no anxiety whatsoever. The whole Bhagavad Gita is about relief from anxiety. We can talk about it. But I'll pause here. Thank you very much for your time, for your attention. And we can open it up for any comments or questions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Madan Gopal Prabhu. So there's no anxiety? Is that correct?
No anxiety. Anxiety-free zone.
Cool. Great. Okay, Gail has her hand up.
Hare Krishna, Gail. It seems like it's been 12 years since I saw you. How you been?
Aww.
Every moment is like 12 years or more.
Well, I actually, now I don't need to ask my question. I'm so fulfilled right now. But I'll ask anyway. So you were saying that it's not presumptuous of us to say, you know, Krishna, my, I forget the word, but my rectification, is your responsibility. You're responsible for my life. It's not presumptuous to say that when we, when we surrender to him. But I don't know, somehow I'm still having a problem with, wouldn't Krishna have a problem with that mood?
Yes.
Because,
yes. Very good question. I was hoping you'd ask it because it's something that left hanging and it needs to be resolved. Very good question. And you're right. There's nothing more obnoxious than a premature presumption of familiarity, isn't it? So am I not guilty of that by saying, oh yeah, Krishna, you're my friend now. You take care of my stresses. Hey, what do you mean? You're not even my devotee, hardly, like barely. So where do you draw the line? Where's the presumption? It is not presumptuous. In fact, it is exactly the mood that great devotees and the scriptures themselves recommend we cultivate. However, the difference lies in whether we are saying it with humility and surrender or with a sense of entitlement and expectation. See the two different mindsets. That's why it comes. Remember, then later on, I kind of qualified it by saying you have to do all the other ones as well, which includes humility, which includes your endeavor to give up selfish things and non-conducive things. It includes your endeavor, your personal endeavor to take up progressive and conducive aspects of Krishna consciousness. It includes the endeavor to be humble and so on. Those come as a package, you see. If we don't have the others and we just have a sense of entitlement and expectation, I'll continue to be a rascal and Krishna, you'll protect me from the cops. No, that's not how it works. There's a sense of entitlement and expectation. We have to package it with humility and surrender. The Shastras encourage this mood. Bhagavatam in the 11th canto says, one who has given up all material duties and has taken full shelter of me by saying, Krishna, I'm yours. He is never my debtor and he's always protected by me. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in chapter 9, right? Those are devoted to me, yogakshemam vahamyaham, and they worship me with love. I give to them what they lack and protect what they have. So these are his promises. But you see, those promises come with these caveats. If you're devoted and worship with love, not those who just approach me in a sense of entitled superiority and expectation. He doesn't say that. See, so they come in packages in pairs. That's why it's important to keep that in mind. That's
so
surrender. Yes, go ahead, Gail.
So would you say that when a devotee speaks like that, he's more having in his mind, you have to protect me because, who else do I have?
Exactly. That's the Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mood. So the surrendered soul prays, Krishna, I'm yours. Like basically, I'm your dog. I have no other protector or master but you. He sings this in his Sharanagati prayers. He says it. That's why if you read Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Sharanagati bhajans, he breaks them down with these very simple sentences. They're very powerful. This is not arrogance. It is faith in his mercy and acknowledgement of our helplessness. When you combine those two, it becomes very powerful, and the Lord is very pleased by that. When we acknowledge our helplessness and have a strong faith in his mercy, then you get this mercy like Prahlad Maharaj got.
Yeah, I was going to say like parent-child relationship, no? Like
yes,
small child.
Yes, small child, a small child. Now, if we say you must protect me because I deserve it, then that is presumption mixed with some pride. But if you say, my Lord, I'm utterly dependent on you. Like you said, where else am I going to go? Without your mercy, I'm lost. I'm nothing. This is Sharanagati. This is the essence of bhakti.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you. Just one other thing, if I can. When, like in the case of Lord Shiva, we have done something wrong, and we've done something wrong, and maybe even unknowingly, right? And for that, somehow we're paying the price. But if you don't even know what wrong you did for which you are paying the price, how will Krishna protect us in such cases? I'm just concerned about when we're suffering due to our own wrongdoings, or we may not even be aware that we did something wrong, but we seem to be suffering from punishment, right? Then in what way can we expect Krishna's protection, if at all? I mean, I'm sure we will expect, because he's supremely loving, so the protection, I'm sure, will be there in some way, but
Yes. So you're touching upon a few quite complex elements here. It's fine. We can kind of explore them a bit. One thing is important is that Krishna protects a soul who approaches him, okay, and who is suffering from unknown past deeds. So what does that mean? A lot of the time people don't want to accept karma as a karmic framework for this one reason. Hey, I'm suffering. I'm being slapped around for something I know I must have done, but I don't even know what it is. How is that going to work? How's it going to help me, first of all, if I don't even know why I'm being punished? If someone told me why I'm being punished, maybe the punishment will have the proper effect. If I'm not even told, how is it going to have the effect of correcting me? You see? So there's that one aspect of it. But see, the karmic impact, or the impact of that correctional, say, reaction, because it's so thorough, the correctional effect will be there, whether we know what we did or we don't know what we did. You see, it's an infallible justice. And sometimes part of the punishment is to not even be knowing what you did. It's part of the punishment. You see?
Wow.
Yeah, it's severe. So, but we can take great hope in quite a few things. One, you see, karma is impartial and automatic. It's like gravity. You sow it, you reap it, right? And sometimes we don't remember the specific action from this life or past lives. Why am I being scolded by my spouse today? I didn't do anything. And now I'm suffering. Like, it's just crushing my spirit. But okay, c'est la vie, it's the way it is. Krishna is not a mechanical judge. He's Bhakta Vatsala. He's a loving protector of devotees. So he can do things like lessen karmic reactions. He can postpone them or modify them, or completely cancel them altogether if they no longer serve the purpose of the soul's spiritual awakening. See? So
Or increase them too.
He may
Whatever.
increase them. Yeah. In fact, if you look at jump to chapter 88, verse number 8. Okay, we're in 10th canto, you go to 1088:8. In that interesting verse, it says that one who has taken shelter of Krishna, the Lord arranges circumstances to remove his remaining impurities and eventually frees him from karmic bondage. But how does he do that? It's very heavy, the stuff he does. He says, if I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken person abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. He said, if I favor someone. Prabhupada quoted this. So if you want to be a devotee, you better be ready for some heavy stuff. Or you can do, pastel form of devotional service, and then it's okay. Then you don't get so much. But Krishna's transformation is thorough. He transforms our suffering into purification. That's his mercy. Materialists suffer and they don't even get purified necessarily. They don't necessarily get purified to the point of coming devotional service. They just keep suffering. And then once that suffering is done with, because the karmic is paid for, then they keep on doing more sinful things, get more suffering. The cycle is endless. But Krishna helps us by transforming our suffering into purification, and he protects our bhakti. How does he do that? He ensures that whatever happens to us, somehow or other, pushes us towards surrender. He gives us ample opportunities. He gives us ample clues. He sends people to help us along our way, even as we are kind of suffering the results of our past deeds. One of the most quoted verses, Bhagavatam, you know this, Tatyenu kampam sasamikshamano, that for the person who continues to suffer the reaction of his misdeeds, while patiently awaiting the mercy of the Lord and offering obeisances to the Lord with his heart, with his words, and with his body, that person prints a ticket that becomes his rightful claim to the bhakti platform, to liberation and beyond.
My only concern with that verse is always, how do we know when we are patiently awaiting and while suffering our karma? How do we just make sure that we're not confusing that with complacency?
Oh, no. See, complacency means we are not offering obeisances. We are not worshiping the Lord. We're not giving him our heart. That's complacency. The verse asks us to offer obeisances with our heart, words, and actions. If we are doing that, every action, every word, every thought, and every emotion in our heart is saturated with service to the Lord, there's no place for complacency. And we keep doing that, and we power through the pain of our reactions while waiting as long as it takes. There's no complacency in that picture, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. See, Bhima Prabhu's hand up, but I think the curtain's about to open.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Wonderful.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madan Gopal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Gail, for the questions. Let's everyone turn on your cameras. Take darshan.
Let's feed of us. Anyway.
By His grace, monkey cross the ocean of material suffering, obtain the mercy of Krishna. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart. He is my Lord forever. From I am ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual masters, Lord, master, be merciful to us. Give us a shade of that is faithful for the free world. Indulgence of God. Shri Guru Charana Padma.
Hare Krishna, welcome to the Afterglow. Madan Gopal, we have a few minutes to stay over time with us.
Yes, a few minutes. Yes, thank you.
Great. Okay, would anyone like to ask a
Bhima
question?
Prabhu has his hand up
Bhima, yes.
from before, yeah. Go ahead, Bhima Prabhu.
His horse is closer to the mic than him. Bhima Prabhu, where are you? Maybe Sadhvi can go while Bhima Prabhu is distracted.
Do I do?
Yes, go ahead, Sadhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for today's class. What we should say to a person who says, I do every practice that I need to do, that it says in Shastra, and I learn from the spiritual master to do, I do everything without questioning. But when it says you have to do it with love, where I'm stuck, I have difficulty. The person says, I have difficulty to understand what is love. Because when I myself have never learned, have never been loved or learn about love, I don't even know what love is. So what does that mean? It means that whatever this person do is not acceptable. It's better not to do it because this person can't do it with love, or you know what I mean?
Mm.
What would you answer to that? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a good question. It brings us to the core understanding of what this term love means. Earlier this year, I went down to Gainesville. It was on February 14th, and they gave a class on love. February 14th is celebrated in a lot of Western countries on this concept of love. It's called Valentine's Day. And I was trying to express that love is not just an emotion. It's not a feeling. It's an action. So even though you may not feel something in the beginning, but you're doing something out of a sense of duty because spiritual master told you to do it. You just, like you said, you're doing exactly what spiritual master says, bow down, say bow down to the Lord. Offer incense, you offer incense, you chant Hare Krishna. Then there's also a sense of feeling. So now you say, what if, but everybody has feelings. But sometimes the feelings are more covered in some people than others, and that's okay. So in bhakti, this love or the prema or the bhava is not a feeling we force ourselves to have. It's not something you squeeze out. You can't force a feeling, really speaking. It's a deep, selfless desire to please Krishna. See? If the desire is there, desire means I want to do it. Why do we do anything at all? Because there's some kind of desire. Why do we accept a spiritual master? Some kind of desire is there. I want to improve myself. I know this will be good for me. Some desire is there. Then, okay, why am I listening to spiritual master? Why am I going through the motions? Because some desire is there, either to please a spiritual master, or you know that it's going to be good for me. But independent of whether it feels intense or emotional, when we do something to please Krishna, that we have a desire to please somebody, that is the beginning of love. Okay. So love is a choice, choosing to serve Krishna or choosing to serve the beloved person, even when the heart may feel dry. That's love. A mother doesn't always feel waves of emotion toward the child at every second. but her care, her sacrifice, her willingness to put the child before herself, that's love. Sometimes, I mean, our consistency in our devotional practice, even in struggle, that's the seed of true love. So bhakti grows gradually, right? We know that. So your question about, if I don't feel anything, but I'm just doing it, and I've been told I should chant with feeling, I should offer with feeling, I should offer with love. What does that even mean? I don't even know what it means. I haven't had experience of, that's okay. Bhakti grows gradually through these stages. You know the stages, you might have heard this. Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prem. So Shraddha is the initial stage of faith, preliminary faith. Often mechanical, by the way. It may feel mechanical. And we're chanting because Guru says so. Following the rules because Guru says so, out of duty. Over time, the heart is cleansed. And then spontaneous attraction, ruchi and affection, bhav, they develop. So ruchi is interest or attraction. And then that develops into asakti, which is a stronger attachment. And then bhav. So that's way later. It's fine. You see, right now, if we just focus on strengthening our preliminary faith, then sadhu sangha, associate with devotees and see what they're doing. If we associate with devotees who have some moving in the heart, we cannot escape movements in our own heart. It's impossible. If we go to, I've given this example many times, if you go to Indian weddings where people are always crying when the bride goes to home after the wedding, there's only so many weddings you can go before you start crying too, at some point. You see. So that's why the association is powerful. So you want to, even though we may not have felt love in our childhood or whatever, it doesn't matter. Everybody has love in the heart because that's the core essence of the soul. Eventually it'll come out. You just have to associate with right people and follow dutifully what the spiritual master says. And gradually, as you go through the stages, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, which is the actual practice, and then the unwanted things go away, then you become more determined, you become more stable, Nishtha, then some interest, Ruchi comes, then some attachment happens, then you start feeling the waves of feeling. It's way later, but you can feel it, a little bit of it now in samplings, little drops, if you hang out with the right people. Okay, Sadhu, Hare Krishna. Great question. Okay, Bhima Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Haribo Prabhu, Madan Gopal, Maharaj. Is there an intermix? We note that we have these 9 processes, and we do them all. One moment we're saying prayers, next moment we're chanting, next moment we're associating, and these things that we do as far as the growth, the shraddha, at first it's like there's got to be something going on, and then association, and then chanting, and then anartha nivritti. And I sometimes wonder, in Prabhupada's Leela, it is made brief note of Prabhupada being asked to take sannyas from his godbrothers, or maybe in a dream, I can't remember, or both. And that Prabhupada said the hara of, are we going? All right. Sorry, I have to shorten this one, but the, are we taking your vehicle? Okay. Sorry. That the Lord arranges for that anartha nivritti, because I feel like, the example is, well, Prabhupada, he had to, in the end, like kind of lose everything. Krishna came in and just took that stuff on the fly. He had no choice. Next thing you know, the thing that the wealth and then the family was gone. So I think that if you can unpack a little bit about that may just be the process that other people will have to go through in order to give up their anartha of being so distracted with the day's events, and sort of like giving, as mentioned earlier, no one else to come and do the rescuing. Like, you're not depending upon your job, you're not depending upon your home, you're not depending on anything to rescue you from, let's just say, a despairing situation. Could you unpack that, Prabhu? I mean, is it something that we all should just get ready to accept? That this is a necessary part, this stripping away? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, it's a good point. It doesn't always have to be that dramatic. Most people will have normal lives. Yes, Krishna personally arranges some of these circumstances that strip away obstacles, attachments, especially when the sincere soul is ready for them. Now, Srila Prabhupada's life is a kind of particularly striking example of this principle, but it doesn't always have to be that way. Also, in Prabhupada's case, you can't really call it anartha nivritti. He didn't have any anarthas. He's a pure, nitya siddha, descending for our benefit. So his leelas, we cannot categorize them in these purificatory pathways, but there can be seen as exemplars, like, pure devotees take the pain to be, just so that the glory is even more increased. It's not that Prabhupada needed it, but he did play along. He did exhibit those as if, see, the Lord is kind to me, took away my family, all that's left is a list of names, and I'm just sitting here laughing, and yet we see what the ups and downs Prabhupada went through. Yes, and like that verse I quoted earlier, Krishna says, when I show special mercy, I take all the stuff. It's not punishment, it's surgical mercy when Krishna takes away stuff that prevent our full surrender. But it doesn't always have to be that dramatic. In fact, it's much easier. It's like a cancer, right? If we detect cancer earlier, the treatment is less painful. It doesn't have to be so. You don't have to have big surgeries. You can just do a little bit of medication and dissolve the little tumors, and microscopic. Similarly, if we can work on our anarthas, identify them early, and target them ourselves and pray to the Lord to help us through them, the Lord will help us through this anartha nivritti. We also described the anartha nivritti stage as a very long one, very long plateau, so it takes time. But we can take solace in the fact that Krishna always has our good at heart. And if we have that faith and realize that he's our only real shelter, then Krishna dismantles our obstacles, and he shows us mercy by giving us the strength to tolerate the surgeries that he has lined up for us. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, if we detect being mechanical in our japa early, then it's easy to cure. But if we just go on mechanically chanting, then it'll be very difficult to cure. I was with Adipurusha Prabhu yesterday. I came to his place after Janitai. How was it with Janitai, Adipurusha Prabhu? Did he say something profound? What were you talking about? Was it Krishna conscious? I'm sure it was.
I expected a 10-minute, 15-minute, half-hour meeting. We were there for 3.5 hours left. Krishna's mercy.
Nice.
People are asking some really nice questions here about love and about having things taken away. And one thing Prabhupada says is that we are loving beings. Of course, Prabhu has already explained that, that this is our essence. We can't change it. We already are. We're surrounded by Krishna's love. And then at one point we perceive it and understand that that's what it is. And then our own natural capacity and inclination to just be loving it's not something added on like a coat of paint. We've got it, and then Krishna's working on us in a wonderful way. And of course, Bhima's question about does it have to be very dramatic about, getting your attachments ripped away? And Prabhu's wonderful answer about how it can be very gentle and you know, it may take time for it to be thoroughly effective, but Krishna's doing that. He's removing things that we really don't need, helping us be who we really are. It's just like
Thank you,
wood.
Bruce.
You got
I
wait.
have to drop off. I'm sorry. My apologies. I have to drop off for my call,
Oh,
but my
You
obeisances.
can you need to appoint a success in Acharya, Madan Gopal Prabhu.
Krishna. Well, oh, Adi Purush is the default acharya. I'm his servant. And then, of course, Bhima Prabhu is the grand acharya of everybody. So, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madan Gopal Prabhu.
Yes,
Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna.
glory to Prabhupada.
So yeah, Krishna is taking away things that we don't need in the first place.
And
That's very
by nature, we
interesting.
already are perfect and loving, you know. We've forgotten. Just like a piece of wood, every piece of wood has the potential for fire.
Yeah.
Not that it, and like Prabhu said, in the right quality of association, that fire comes. You know, when we're are surrounded by other burning pieces of wood, we will also catch fire, and our love will become manifest. That potential for being loving is there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to talk too long. I'll go to Prabhupada.
Every time Chinmay Radha asks me to shave, I just say, God made me perfect.
But you shave because you love her and you want to please.
Yeah. Yes.
We see you don't have a foot-long beard. You must be shaving sometimes.
No, I have to be humble in Bhima's presence. He's the only one allowed to have a full-blown beard here.
I made up one time. I said it, mistakenly, off-timingly, in front of a Prabhupada disciple. Somebody was saying, you know, Bhima, your hair is long, your beard, everything like that. Was it always that way? And I go, I always wanted it to be that way. The movie.
You sound
Yeah.
intoxicated, Bhima.
But I said,
Can't hear you.
I said in his. Oh, you can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I said once in the presence of a Prabhupada disciple, Prabhupada said, either shave it all, either just let it everything grow or shave it all off. And you know, he never said that. So I put words in Prabhupada's mouth by saying, Prabhupada said you either look like an avadut or a shiny brahmachari, with a nicely coiffed head. But no, Prabhupada said you have to look like a gentleman, and if that requires nicely combed short hair and nicely fitting clothing, we're representing. We just have to represent at all times. Thank God I'm on a farm and not having to represent to anybody except other animals, and they think I'm just fine. So that does it for me. What about you, Ananda Bihari?
I'm an animal myself. But Chinmay Radha is raising my bar all the time. Thank you. Okay, would anyone like to speak? Please go ahead. Adipurusha Prabhu and Bhima will handle questions.
You know, it's not just what you do, but why you do it. Krishna asks people to do different things. If we're doing what we're doing as an expression of love for Krishna's pleasure, it's perfect. It could be different ways for different people. Renunciation is the principle. And one wonderful thing about this story is Krishna is showing us how the world works, how things work. And he's showing that, like Sachinanda Maharaj said to Hari Prasad, he said, if something's worth it, there's going to be a price to pay. And austerity is the currency of the universe. So we may take on something difficult, like shaving or like tolerating the long beard. If we're doing it for Krishna's pleasure, it's perfect. If we're just doing it because I like this, I don't want that, then there's some selfish motivation. But love can be expressed in different ways. Important thing is the love and who you're doing it for. I'm tired to talk so long. I'll go to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Sometimes just being yourself, I don't understand how just not being yourself wouldn't please Krishna. You know what I mean? You can go by the institutional norms or what other people expect from you, but what about just being yourself? You know, are we so lost that we can't be authentic to ourselves? You know, it's not about what I like or I reject this, but what about just being yourself for Krishna? Just, you know, of course, we're always endeavoring to improve.
Sure, why not?
But as far as the externals go, that's the one thing that always attracted me so much to the movement was that the devotees, at least the ones I was hanging with, a Sankirtan traveling warrior type guys and gals, they were always fully fleshed out characters. Like everybody was really different from everybody else. It was not a flock of sheep. And as a creative myself, I adore individuality and authenticity in someone's speech, even if it goes against the grain of what is allowed or what may be considered awkward. I always find that the devotees have always been true and authentic. So I think that one of the greatest things that we can offer as part of those things after a nocturne, the processes, the 9 processes, is of course to surrender everything, and that might be also to surrender the idea that somehow you have to be something other than who you actually are. that that as Adipurusha said, you come to understand that this is you're remembering and you're waking up, not that you're gaining something or earning something. Krishna has already bestowed us everything that we need, which is amazing. You know, we seek facility in the outside world, you know, for our devotional service, and that's all part of the grand adventure. When Krishna supplies that facility, it's wild. You know, you just, oh, look at how Krishna lined this up, and this is. But then also, he also that full surrender part is sort of a natural thing because he's for eternal facility, which is amazing. You know, Sat Chit Ananda. Really, am I really Sat Chit Ananda? I have problem enough with just being Sat, being here now. You can't have Chit and Ananda without Sat, like live in the now. You can't be troubled by the
No,
past,
Bhima
and you can't
Prabhu.
be ambitious for the future.
Bhima Prabhu, you're full of shit. Don't worry.
Oh, you won. You won the internet today.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a
great
good
point.
one.
Yeah, great
How long
point.
have you been waiting to use that, Ananda
Oh,
Bihari?
I was tempted to say that as soon as you started. I was practicing some
Well,
austerity of speech, but I didn't last long.
yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. That helps. Great deal. I'll be sure not to reveal that anymore. I've got wheelbarrows of it waiting for me.
Yeah. Yeah. See, Krishna created so many devotees, so much variety. If we were supposed to be clones, like identical, then Krishna would have created just one devotee. Exemplary is, somebody like Vasudev Prabhu, for maybe, and that's it. But he created he created Adipurusha Prabhu, he created Sadhvi, Anandi, all these wonderful devotees who are so different. But there's one common quality that Madan Gopal Prabhu highlighted that all the devotees share is surrender to Krishna, humility. So that's what we have in common. But everything else can be different. The offering should be different, should be different. Krishna enjoys variety, transcendental variety in the spiritual world. Things are different. Yes, I'm sorry, ranting. Would anyone like to speak? We can take one more flying heart. Sarah Prabhu, flying heart is not enough. You need to turn on your camera, unmute yourself, and speak in line with Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Or maybe rap. as long as it's in line with Guru and Sada and Shastra.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Lots of love and respects to all of you. One thing that I was going to add, and I've been thinking about it, haven't shared. One of the best things about our morning Sangha that I appreciate and value immensely is the diversity. So I've been growing up for years, going to temple for as long as I can remember. And I did not see diversity that I desired. And so in our morning Sangha and with Krishna's love that radiates everywhere. And now I get to see diversity, and I think it is amazing. I think we are all one, and we are all diverse, and we are all one, and I value that so very much. Going to temples and only seeing individuals of my culture. It's great, but the diversity is everything, in my opinion. And so for that, I thank all of you for allowing me to see that and learn from all of you every morning. Thanking Krishna, Sri Prabhupada. And so I wanted to share that. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Lots of love and respects to all of you.
Thank you, Sarah Prabhu. I'm so glad I asked you to speak. That was so inspiring. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, thank you very much. We love you. We need you. We want you to be you. Krishna wants you to be you, and offer that to Krishna. And come again tomorrow for another session. Hare Krishna. Happy Sunday. Sweat, chant, dance.